Yeah, so thank you very much, Chief Knecht, and thanks for having us again for the third time in a row, talking to us about the year. And we're always happy to stop by and chat a bit about what the year looked like from the diversity perspective.
Very good.
So our first question is, listening to the media and all the talks in Edmonton after the violent incidents in Edmonton that took place on October 1st and 2nd, there was a lot of praise for the APS. There was a standard display of the APS with no loss of life, no gunshot, keeping the community safe. This is something Diversity Magazine gave EPS an A-star. How do you feel about that?
Well, I have to tell you, I'm very proud of the organization. I'm very proud of the way our members responded at every level. So, certainly Constable Mike Chernick, the member that was struck by the vehicle and then stabbed, and the way he responded and his, at a great personal sacrifice to himself, and the fact that he was able to, thwart his aggressor and fight off the attack and survive that attack. And he's been a great ambassador for the organization ever since then. As well as the members that ended up stopping the individual later that evening in the U-Haul, identifying them and then following the individual as he traveled down to Jasper Avenue, and of course our members that were involved, the tactical members that were involved in actually stopping the vehicle. So to my mind, the duty officer and all those frontline people involved in that altercation and that incident, both at Commonwealth Stadium and on Jasper Avenue, and between those two locations, did an admirable job, and I couldn't be more pleased with the job that they did in keeping Edmontonians safe that night, because to my mind, there were many opportunities where this could have ended in tragedy. I think for Constable Chernick, it could have ended in tragedy and did not. I think for the members that initially stopped that individual, if the circumstances would have been somewhat different, there could have been tragedy there. And then, of course, we did have people injured on Jasper Avenue. We had 4 people injured on Jasper Avenue at varying degrees. We had somebody, a young lady that was significantly injured and will take a considerable time to recover from her injuries as a consequence of that act. And so I do think that our members, in taking out that vehicle when they did and pursuing that vehicle the way they did, kept Edmontonians safe and kept the members safe. Clearly, we didn't know what was in that truck when it was heading towards Jasper Avenue. It was heading towards probably the second largest accumulation of people in the city that evening. The biggest accumulation of people being at Commonwealth Stadium. And I think Mike did an admirable job there, and as well as on Jasper Avenue, the second greatest culmination of people in the city that evening. It was a beautiful night, September the 30th in the city, and I couldn't be more impressed with our members of the way they responded. I had an opportunity to listen to the tape of the conversation our members had during the incident. They were calm, they were collective, they were professional. They did a fantastic job, and like I said, I think Edmontonians, not only I think they should be proud, I think they are proud of their police service, and I think everybody pulled together to do a great job, including the community. I think the community support that we received afterwards, or right across the city, and both provincially, nationally, and internationally, the support we received is remarkable, and it's humbling.
How do you replicate such a master display?
Well, I think, if you back things up a little bit, we talked about a terrorism strategy within the Edmonton Police Service 3 years prior to that. And we started to train, and we started to garner equipment, and we started to work on a strategy at the executive level and pushed it right down to the front line. As far as my comments were always, it's not if we ever have a terrorism attack in Edmonton, it's when we have a terrorism attack in Edmonton. And we as a police service responsible for public safety have to be prepared for such an incident. We always hope that will never happen, and we hope that would never happen in Edmonton. And I can tell you, quite frankly, I was a little surprised that it happened so when it did, but we were prepared. I think our members were prepared, and they acted admirably.
Okay, so I'm going to switch now to the most recent graduation from the EPS, which had 30 graduates. Looking at some of their qualifications, you have people from different walks of life, different experiences, different skills. Some are degree holders, university graduates, really good quality, which shows that the EPS recruitment team has gone far and wide to find the very best that every police service will be proud of. And I'm sure Edmontonians are proud of this police service. But we didn't have that many, we didn't have any person of minority descent in that group. And some community members have shared some interesting ideas like creating a network so that they can recommend people that they know within their community. That's just one suggestion, but I'm just curious to know if the EPS have some ideas for around about this in the coming 2018.
Absolutely. So we actually just, I guess it would be 3 or 4 days ago, we just started a recruitment initiative focused on diversity. So it's solely focused on getting diverse groups, religious, cultural, sexual, otherwise, into the organization that create more diversity in the organization. So we're focusing strictly on diversity through this initiative. And that got rolled out 3 or 4 days ago. That'll go forward probably, I would suggest, for years to come. So this is just starting now. Now we've always tried to recruit, as much diversity as we can into the organization, and we've been, I would say, quite successful. This last class is probably not indicative of probably the previous classes. Certainly, it varies from time to time, and we do go right across Canada to try to get the very best candidates, as you've said, and. Sometimes it's more diverse, sometimes less diverse. It just depends, who applies for the police service. One of our challenges is that everybody else, all other police services want diversity. A lot of businesses want diversity. Government at every level, federal, municipal, provincial, First Nations, they all want diversity in their hiring practices and in their workforce. So we're challenged sometimes because everybody's fighting for the same candidates, and that's what our most recent diversity initiative is all about, is being more focused on getting diversity, certainly in our recruiting, and that's not just our police officers, but our civilian personnel as well.
Okay.
And I just wanted to comment, you had a suggestion, and we welcome any suggestions from the community. If they have some ideas, some thoughts, some ways that we can better represent their community within our police service, we absolutely welcome those suggestions. And there's ways to do that, either by sending us a letter, coming and talk to us, talk to our recruiting people, any way possible to communicate that, because some of our best ideas, quite frankly, come from the community.
Thank you. So, most of the time the comments are always what we want the police service to do, what we want them to do for the community. So let me switch this around. How can the community help?
Well, that's a great question, and I'm glad the community has got that attitude. I think that's where we want to be, because our view is the community is the police and the police are the community, and we're strengthened by the support we get by the community. So we operate from a position of trust. I've said this many times. The Edmonton Police Service, our sworn members, we've got I think it's 879 sworn members, and our population is almost 1 million people. And so we can't police this city by ourselves. We can't keep it safe by ourselves. When people say, well, it's the police's responsibility, I would probably disagree with that and say it's everybody's responsibility to keep this city safe. However, the police are engaged and employed to do that full time. But I think we all have a responsibility, and our strength is when the community does support us and they find us credible and they trust us and they help us. And by being witnesses, by coming forward when they see criminal activity, or they see somebody that may have a propensity to commit a criminal act, that we can get ahead of it and that we can help these people. Again, you talk about recruiting, that the community comes forward and says, we have some people here that we think would be excellent recruits for the Edmonton Police Service. Could you come and talk to them? Can you come and do a talk in the community? Can you come and do a talk at a church or a civic event of any sort? We're absolutely up for that. We absolutely embrace that, and that's our strength, is that if we can prevent crime before it happens, that makes it a lot easier for us. We almost, if we're doing a good job, we try to do ourselves out of a job because there is no crime. Now, we know that'll never ever happen, but that's sort of a lofty goal, and that's a bit of a stretch target for us. But to hear that the community wants to work with us and wants to help us is very, very encouraging, and we embrace that. I mean, that's great to hear.
Okay, thank you very much. And I know you're busy. Last question, so you can go back to your busy work. So this is, of course, this is a holiday season. Some say Christmas, everybody calls it different thing. But during this season, I expect most people expect to have lots of things happening. We are not going to ask you to do anything like sing a carol for us.
I'm a terrible singer.
But you might have a message, a Christmas or holidays message for our audience and the community that will be listening to this tape or reading this story.
Sure.
What would be your message?
Sure. Well, you know, we want to keep everybody safe, and I think it's as I talked about earlier. It's all about the community and the police working together to keep Edmonton safe. Not everybody celebrates Christmas, but I think this season is all about community and being together and working together and being positive and taking care of each other collectively. So I think if we all take care of each other, we all look out for each other, we all respect each other, this will be a great city. And it's a city that, you know, we want to make it the safest major city in Canada, and the only way we can do that is through the help and support of our community. So I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I think we can make 2018 safer than 2017 through the help and support and assistance of our community. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief, and we'll do for sure.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.